current political constraints.
All right, so that was Bernard Charles, the CEO of Dassault Systems, saying that he sees the greatest growth potential in India, and 25% of their R&D spends are directed towards the India market. Shifting focus to the used car segment now, Amit Kumar, the CEO of OLX Group India, is gung-ho about the sector. In a conversation with me, Kumar says that the used car market is already outpacing the new car segment in 2022. Here's a slice of that conversation.
The used car market is going through some really exciting times. The pandemic just proved a catalyst in the long-term growth that any sort of emerging market goes through. The used car market around 2015 was smaller than the new car market. Now we are around 1.3, 1.4x of the market, and by 2026 this is going to be a 7 million cars market. In terms of this year specifically, the used car market growth continues to outpace the new car market. It is typically 1.5x the kind of number that it shows. So if you look at the new car market, that typically grows between 8 to 10%. This year they're showing good numbers, while the used car market is at a CAGR of 15% till 2026, taking us to 7 million cars.
Right. I'd also like to ask you, how much are you investing this year into growing your business footprint?
It's an interesting question to ask for a Prosus Naspers invested company. We are quite aggressive in the way we've built our business. But unfortunately, I cannot share specific numbers with you. But what I can tell you is that the business is growing leaps and bounds. I think the big shift which COVID induced is in the user preferences of users wanting us to go to their homes to inspect the cars that they want. As a result, most of our business has moved from a retail center driven model to a home inspection driven business model. As a result, the top of the funnels for the business have become almost 3.5x, and that's the kind of growth that we've witnessed in the last 12 months.
Right. In terms of popularity among car models, what is the greatest amount of preference that you see among customers?
See, if you look at the last couple of years, the utility vehicles have definitely seen greater preference in the new car market, and the same is visible in the used car market also. So if you pick the likes of Scorpio and Cretas, etc., they've definitely seen an uptick of close to 150% in the demand that these cars have seen. In addition, I think fuel-efficient cars have seen greater traction because of the rise in the fuel prices. CNG cars have seen a lot of shortage because there is an incremental or increased demand because again of the fuel price rises. In terms of specific models, you will find familiar names which have significant market share, the Swifts, the Swift Desires, the i10s of the world. They continue to be an important part or a significant chunk of the used car market. The very sort of obvious reason is that the used car market mirrors the new car market trends that you see in the last 3 to 4 years. Plus, if you look at the geography split, we see North gaining traction because it was slightly less impacted from COVID. So it came back to feet and started seeing growth faster. If you look at the luxury cars specifically, what we've seen is the luxury car markets in the tier 2 has grown at almost a 45% year on year, while in the tier 1 markets, you see that number at a more 40%. But the luxury cars have become slightly more expensive year on year across brands, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, etc.
Right. Finally, to also ask you, do you also see a lack of supply when it comes to used cars in the market? Is that a problem? While there is growing demand for used cars, is there a lack of supply? Are people postponing new purchases, postponing selling their cars or exchanging their cars for new ones?
See, there is a definite lack of new car supply in the market, fueled by supply chain issues, global supply chain issues, the chip shortage. Now, that leads to medium-term issues for the used car markets, which I'm hoping get sort of moderated because of the macroeconomic shifts that we are seeing in the market. But in terms of exchange supplies, also the OEMs and we have seen some degree of decline. But I think if you look at the overall picture, given that the used car market is going and growing at such a pace that factor is not playing out very big. I think the preference for used cars and the price discovery for used cars, if you look at the used car prices in the last couple of years, they've hardened at least 10 to 12%. So there is that supply balance shift which is happening. There is some shortage of supply, but I wouldn't say that's a sort of significant factor impacting the pre-owned car market.
All right. Clearly, used car segment will see strong growth over the next few months. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Newscenter. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.